Hello and welcome to yet another installment of How I Spent the Apocalypse. I'm Selena Rosen and I will be your tour guide today through the wonderful world of bamboo. Now, as you look around this place, I'm sure you've seen in the garden, I already showed you how I made a bamboo trellis. I'm sure if you've looked at the garden, you've noticed that half the stuff in there is made out of bamboo. If you look at our place, there's bamboo everywhere. Me and my son, the genius, we build with bamboo all the time. So, you might be saying, well, where do you get that bamboo? You know, we can't go get bamboo. Well, how do you get bamboo? Well, first off, a lot of places you can find, they'll be in bar ditches, will be growing. In fact, I'm about to show you some of the starts that I got out of bar ditches. But bamboo is incredibly easy to grow and it reproduces really quickly and it has all kinds of benefits for your land as well as your homestead lifestyle and everything else. First off, if I cut all this down this year, it would all be back next year. So it's a completely renewable resource. Okay. What are the downsides of bamboo? You don't want to put bamboo anywhere you don't want it or anywhere where it can get away from you, because if you do, it will eat not just your place, but your place and your neighbor's place and your neighbor's neighbor's place. It's very invasive. I mowed the lawn, and we'll talk about that in a future episode, but I mowed the lawn, if Lynn will show you. I've mowed the lawn, I went ahead and let it grow really high, and I'm basically mowed it so that I can hay it. I'm waiting for it to dry for a couple of days, then I'll pick it all up and I'll put it in the drying room. Okay, but I wanted to show you this. This is how invasive bamboo is. It's planted over here. This came up since the last time I mowed, which was about 3 weeks ago, because I've been letting it grow and it's been wet.
Right.
So it's about 3 weeks of growth. Okay, so the nice thing about bamboo stays green all winter. Most varieties do. You can take this and feed this to the goats. You take it, feed it to other animals. Currently I have 2 strains. I have Gold Stripe, which I found beside the road, and I have the small cane, which is here on the end, which is a native cane that grows down by the riverbanks, and that's where I got my start of it. I have them integrated all over the place. Today I'm getting ready to plant timber bamboo that my son, the genius, grew for me. Started for me. My son, the genius, has several stands of timber bamboo on his place. My mother has a huge stand of timber bamboo that my dad planted, 30 years ago?
At least.
Okay, so you can see how dense this is. I had this all trimmed out 2 years ago. Okay, you can see you get some pieces, you know, are ready to harvest now if I wanted to build with them. I mean, look at the size of that piece. That piece would make trellises, it would make teepees for your beans, posts for your tomatoes, all kinds of stuff. Now, my neighbor decided she didn't want me to cut it off of her place anymore because she wanted to break between us and them. And so all of that came up last year.
Wow.
And I always cut my bamboo all the way back to this stand. All of this is new this spring. All of it. So, like I said, put it somewhere where you know you can keep it from eating everything. All right. And not only that, but I mean, talk about instant privacy. You literally can't see my neighbor's house. It's right there. Yeah. It's maybe what? Maybe about 60 feet on the other side of our fence?
About that.
Okay. You can't see through this at all. That's where one of our major pastures are. And now I'm going to let Lynn shut this down so that I can go and start planting the timber bamboo, because I'm pretty sure you don't want to watch me dig a hole for an hour. Are you ready? Okay, so I have to dig a hole and plant that. I have to plant it today because if you'll notice, it's trying to die on me. My son started that in his greenhouse until, what, 2 days ago? It was raining every 10 minutes and it was fine. Now, we had 2 really nice, cool days on which it would have been great to do this. But of course, I waited until it's hotter than 2 sticks of shit to try to build this freaking hole. And this hole's gonna be a booger. Now, like I said, you don't want to put that stuff anywhere where you don't want it and can't control it. Chicken yard is there. As you can see, there is a cane break all the way around the chicken yard. They don't let it get in the yard with them. They eat it as soon as it pops up in their yard. Okay, so if it pops up that way, nothing. The dogs, I'm going to put a little fence when I get done to protect it, but the dogs will run on that side. That'll keep it from doing it. So this should be enough area for us to get a pretty nice stand of giant bamboo. Well, what about my neighbor? Well, if Lynn will pan over, you'll see that my neighbor is mowing his yard. Now, here's what you need to know about him. He's a nice enough guy, but he's very extremely bored. Apparently he does not have cable TV. And anytime he sees me in the yard, he mows. So he mows about 60 times a week. So we don't have to worry about the bamboo going over there. Now, when you gotta dig a hole, at least in our part of the world, especially if you're gonna dig it bamboo-like shade. Now the regular bamboo, you can put it like I have on that other place, that's a wet area. And the bamboo will act like a sponge. It'll actually soak the water up so the water doesn't stand there anymore. And it just grows, as you can see, 40-foot bamboo. But my son tells me, my son the genius, not to be mistaken with Little Willie. My son the genius tells me that this timber bamboo needs to be in a shaded area, but someplace that drains. So I've had it in the pot at our house for now, what, 2 months? Trying to figure out where to put it. And I finally came up with this area. But I knew that this area was not gonna be easy to dig a hole in. Because you see, every 3 seconds, I'm hitting a tree root, okay? And so I have an entire bank of tools for hole digging. This is one you almost always have to have in our part of the world because it also goes through rocks. In fact, I bought this when I was digging that pool because I had to go through 6 inches of shale. And this is the only thing that'll do that. It's good for prying rocks out of the ground. It's good for breaking rocks out of the ground. It's good for cutting woods.
Is that the brake bar?
Yes, I call it a brake bar. I don't know what the hell everybody else in the world calls it. Every time I call a tool something, I get half a dozen people going, well, I always thought that was a blah, blah, blah. But I call it a brake bar. When I bought it, I think I paid 20 bucks for it. That was 30-something years ago. God only knows what it would cost now. But it was definitely, it's worth its weight in gold. So there you go. And it's very heavy. It weighs about 40 pounds. Maybe not that much. Maybe closer to 25, 30. I don't know, I never weighed it. I just use it all the time. But at any rate, you can see it kind of breaks the dirt up, even though it's compacted and it's harder than concrete. Which the bamboo, by the way, will bust that up. It'll bust right through that. In fact, that's another thing. Don't put it by your leach lines. Don't put it by your septic tanks. Don't put it where it can go under a building. It'll tear a building apart. So you want it far enough away from your buildings that it won't do that. Little Willie planted timber bamboo on his leach lines over there at the other place. Now he's since moved it to his place. But the bamboo did really well. But in another couple of years, it would have torn up his septic system. Yeah, Little Willie. That's what I call my son the genius when he does something not so genius. You know. So Little Willie's not to be mistaken with my son the genius, just like you should never mistake stupid Selena with Selena the genius. So there you go. Like a lot of times you'll hear about stupid Selena. Like stupid Selena's working in the freaking heat to dig a hole. But okay, so why am I working in the heat? Working in the heat because in the nice weather, I spent 2 days sitting on the phone waiting to hear from the hospital because my mother's in the hospital. She's sick. She doesn't have COVID-19, but because of COVID-19, you can't go up to the hospital. And then they moved her from one hospital all the way to another hospital that's 2.5 hours away. And so I was trying to find stuff out, which by the way, you can't. And people are like, well, they should let you up there. And it's like, well, not really, because the fact they're not letting me up there means they're not letting other people up there that might be carrying COVID to my mother. But in the meantime, she's had 43 different nurses. God only knows where they go in their off time. And I can't find anything out, and I have to sit on the phone. So finally today, Lynn sat on the phone so I could get some stuff done. And hopefully Mom will come home tomorrow. She'll come home with us. So we've been super careful this whole time, trying not to get exposed to COVID. Now we have to go get Mom out of the hospital. So, and meanwhile, people won't wear masks and they won't social distance, and we hit 2 million COVID cases in America. But at any rate, well, I want to, you know, I just have to dig this hole, which will take me a while. When I get done digging this hole, I will put the plant into it, and then I will go and get some compost out of those barrels and spread around it. So,
when you're done, tell me and I will come take a picture.
No, stay right there. No, well, you can do that when I get finished. Yeah. But yeah, I wanted to say something. I heard that our president is going to start his rallies again. He's going to start in Tulsa, Oklahoma. So I just wanted to say that if you support the president, by God, you should go to those rallies. And you should stand on top of each other and not wear a mask to show your support for the president. And, oh, by the way, when you leave the rally, you should just stay away from all people that didn't go to the rally for at least 2.5 weeks, just to show them how you feel about them not supporting the president. That's what you should do. And now I've finished digging this hole, and then you can come back, eh?
Okay. And this is it, planted and ready to be fenced. If she gets the fence up before I post this video, I will go ahead and take a picture of it with the fence.